last night, it really just it just tarnishes a great solid effort. I liked it back in the day where, I mean, nobody likes a tie. I get that, right? But you could feel that you deserve that point. You earn that point. To only have it, nowadays robbed from you in a shootout if you don't happen to get that lucky bounce of the puck, so to speak. So, I don't know. I'm with you on the shootouts. I think it needs to be revisited.
Well, this is going to come back. This next comment Trevor said is going to come back to what you just said. He says, I'm happy with their winning, but they need to get the dubs in regulation.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. You got to get the wins in regulation because I believe it was either you or Greg before the show was saying at some point all the extra time that you guys are playing right now is going to wear down on you at some point.
Yep.
So you got to start winning in regulation.
And the points you're giving away. Sure, even if you're fortunate to win in overtime in a shootout, you earn that 2 points, but you gave away a point to the opposition.
Right.
And
especially
to be
playing
fair,
in their division.
And
right.
and also I think half the other reason why that these games have been going past regulation too is that look who they're facing. You're facing Boston. You're facing Toronto twice. You're facing Montreal. You're facing Carolina.
Top-tier teams in the Eastern Conference.
Carolina is the only one that surprised me by just kind of rolling over and dying in the third period. That was the only one that shocked me at the end of the day that the Flyers managed to win that one in regulation. I thought, if anyone, that one would at least go to overtime. But Washington as well, they had to fight them really hard, and that one they didn't win, but, I mean, that went to extra time. Again, another top team. It's been a real rough stretch for the Flyers over these last few games. But, hey, they got more wins than losses out of it. So I say, damn, that's pretty freaking impressive when you look at it.
I'm going to have to go to YouTube when we're done here and see this goal. Trevor says, seeing Joel Farabee going bar down on Halak Sunday was so pretty. I'll have to YouTube that. Michael Mitchell says, only Philly team I don't like. I'm going to assume he's talking about the Flyers. Michael, just let us know if I'm right or wrong. Let me know who you like. Can't really tell through your picture, but that's fine. So let us know who you like. Let us know which Philly team you don't like.
Over under, he's a Devils fan.
He was talking about Paul Carrier earlier, so maybe he's a Ducks fan.
Maybe he's a Ducks fan. I don't
know. Bill Middlebrook says shootouts are awesome. I strongly disagree. I hate the shootouts. They can go. They can go. Just tack on another 3 or 4 minutes to overtime and just let them finish it out. Frank Vespi, hey yo, sorry to bother you. # banana heads at work. To answer the poll, disagree at the moment, just because we have entered the twilight zone. But in all seriousness, I am glad that they have gotten over that bugaboo so far this season.
Bugaboo.
Seriously. Let's see what do we got here. Frank Vespi also continues to say, never grew up with Disney Channel. It was scrambled.
It was scrambled.
The hopefully he is talking about Disney Channel and all right, never mind. I'm not finishing the rest of that comment. I just opened the rest of it.
Usually the scrambled channels were the
yep. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. Bill Motorbrook says this is the Flyers year. I feel like underdog talk. It's happening. Let's go. # 1975. Been too long.
Yeah. It's been way too long.
They're playing well. Don't get me wrong. They're playing really well. They're playing really well, especially up to the top-tier teams. They're competing, but I don't think it's going to be their year yet. They still got a little bit of growing to do.
I mean, it depends. If Hart has a Vezina Trophy-like year, who knows? But I don't know. It would really have to be that if they were to win a cup. It'd have to be Hart having a Vezina Trophy year and just shutting teams down. And teams that are better than the Flyers right now, they would have to beat them to get to the Stanley Cup final. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a tall order to fill. It really is.
I disagree, though. I mean, would you need Hart playing on his head? Yeah, you need any team would need their goaltender standing on the head. But the level of play that I'm seeing through all 3 and even 4 lines has been superb. They're playing with the cream of the crop. The Capitals are pacing everybody in points, and we were in that game. Even I know, granted, one regulation game. When you're seeing this team playing all the intangibles, how they're playing well through the neutral zone, being defensively responsible, just seeing the maturation, and then having a player like Farabee who is just well experienced beyond his young years. I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid as a Homer fan, which I am, but I think this team has a real shot to not only make the playoffs, but make some noise. That's why I started the playoff beard early. This scraggly little fucking thing.
I mean, I definitely think I see them making the playoffs, but making a Stanley Cup run, I mean, there's still a little bit of growing to do from some of the younger guys. You got to find a place for some of the other guys that are still, you're still.
To piggyback, though, off of Rob's point, though, I could see them possibly shocking the world and getting to the Eastern Conference Final. And just being an underdog team like Carolina was last year, getting that far, that'd be as far as they get. But they would get through their division and get to the Eastern Conference Finals and be like, holy shit, the Flyers got that far. Like, holy shit, no one saw it coming. Experts would have saw it coming, but a lot of people outside of the Flyers market, they may not have saw it coming, and it would be a shock. Just like it was when Carolina got that far. I don't think any of us expected Carolina, even though they were looking like they were developing a good team at the time. I don't think we expected them, even after they upset Washington, to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, speaking of not seeing anything coming, Baker didn't see T.J. Watt coming at all.
Yeah, blasted.
Boom.
Master
Boom.
blaster.
Oh, TJ, he's so good. A couple more
What you
comments
get
here.
for not using your best player?
Seriously.
Fucking Browns.
I know. Tom Arno says to the poll, I agree to the poll, but I'm worried that all this extra hockey will catch up on us, which is kind of what somebody was talking about. It was either you or Greg.
It was Greg, but it's a justifiable concern. It really is. Luckily, though, this is the first half, so hopefully after like an all-star break or something like that, if they start kind of wearing down a little bit, they could take a break. The all-star thing happens, and then they could come back from the second half. They could be much more supercharged, if you will, to make that push for the playoffs.
Well, this question I was kind of wishing Mikey would be here for, but, I mean, we're three good hockey minds. So Crosby's out. How is this going to affect the Pens?
I mean, they'll still be relevant because they are still a pretty good deep team, but that's going to hurt. I mean, anytime you lose your captain, the superstar in your team, now they're saying a minimum 6 weeks. Core muscle surgery is no joke, and it was a sports hernia, no?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and I mean, you see football players being out 2 months from that. And I'm not trying to say football players are any tougher than I dare to say hockey players are tougher. But
that's what I would say.
I would expect Crosby to be out at least that same period of time, 2 months, if not longer, and that's going to dampen their season. And you don't want to have a feather in the cap of your season due to injury, but it happened. Enjoy the spoils.
And it's tough not having Malkin in the lineup too for the Penguins too. So that they're staying afloat because of Crosby.
Right.
The biggest issue that the Penguins have had is just their injury problems, and this is not just this year. Last year they had a lot of injury problems. The year before that they had a lot of injury problems. It seems where any season goes, injury follows for the Penguins. They can't stay healthy, and that ultimately screams that this team is in trouble right now. And the only reason I say that is because your top guys are going down, and then after that, you traded away a lot of your depth, which they have. Not saying they don't have young talent that's capable of scoring goals. They do. But they've practically got their Wilkes-Barre-Scranton team out there now. It's like, okay, how much longer can this team hold on? They cannot possibly have any more left in them. Unless Murray goes on and has a Vezina year, they're in a lot of fucking trouble. Big time, because they're losing a lot of their major players. And it's not just any player. You're losing the best player in hockey
the two best players
right
on
now.
The team. Yeah.
And arguably the best player in hockey currently right now is Sidney Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, holy shit, that's not a minor loss. I mean, and then somebody could say, yeah, but when Lemieux was out, the Penguins still did well. I'm like, yeah, but that was a team that
they still had. I think they
Yager,
had Yager
and they had so many.
Ron Francis and a couple guys like that.
They still had a lot of other great players on that team.
AKA Hall of Fame team.
Basically.
Yeah.
It was an all-star team back then. It was like totally no salary cap either back then, so it was great. You could do whatever the fuck you want back then. But anyway.
John Malmo says, nah, dude. TJ Oshie's insane with shootouts. That schedule is like murderer's row. I'm excited to see where this team is going. I'm looking forward for us coming up.
I was praying so bad that we ended the game in regulation because any team with TJ Oshie shootout, lights out.
I did get to see a very little bit of the Flyers game last night. I did see 2 minutes of the overtime. Sean Couturier had a prime opportunity and just rang it square off the post. He
the slapper from between the circles,
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was brutal. I sat there, I watched it, I'm like, that's a shame.
And out of that overtime, at least 3 minutes to 3 minutes and 30 seconds of puck possession for the Flyers. It was exquisite.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's one of the keys to not just well, obviously winning games in regulation, but especially overtime. You only have 5 minutes. If you can
Keep away game,
if you can control the puck,
Absolutely. I mean,
go in and out of the zone if you
Yeah.
have to. Like, keep setting up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, man, when you take a shot and you beat the goalie, the worst thing to hear is that iron. It is the worst thing because 9 times out of 10, that means that it went off the post and it didn't go in. Now, sometimes you hear it and sometimes it goes in. Not often. A lot of times you hear
you mean, what was it, Philip Myers' shot from the right hash mark that rang in right off the post? That was a good post sound.
That's that, but
Yeah, we like that one.
It doesn't happen all the time, but a lot of times, 9 times out of 10,
That's a crazy angle that he scored that too, right?
It's amazing the talent that these guys have. It really is. It's just you gotta love this team and the youth that we have. It's amazing. Right. It's just like, see, this is why you build through the draft. A lot of good things can come of it, and a lot of teams they try to. But then you see the Edmonton Oilers and that's not how you build a team through the fucking draft. But anyway.
Trevor Harris says, I'm also glad that the Flyers didn't throw up on themselves like they used to do on national TV. That game last night just shows that this ain't much of Flyers of old.
Yeah.
Here.
Absolutely. Yeah. They've been making that big transition to becoming a more common NHL team of, we're going to put an emphasis on offense and speed than, rugged toughness and intimidation.
Yep. He goes on to say, I'm not being biased, but this team is fun to watch, and it's fun to have Flyers officially back.
Yes. It absolutely is. And I love this team. This team is fun. This team is a great team to watch,
It's a very fun team to watch, and, obviously I get the privilege of getting to watch the Flyers at 7 o'clock on my random days off. And then I usually get to watch Anaheim right after that.
Right.
And right now, watching the Flyers is a lot more entertaining than watching Anaheim.
And you're a Ducks fan.
And I'm a Ducks fan.
In case you couldn't tell.
Yeah, you couldn't tell, head to toe.
I respect the honesty, man.
Yeah,
but
they're doing all the little things right now, and the AV system is really starting to click. And bringing in Kevin Hayes, I thought that's been huge so far.
It has been. I mean, I will say I was not happy with the contract, but man, is he playing so well for this team, and he's been amazing for them.
Purely for the benefit on the PK too. It's been dominant. I mean, getting up into the upper epsilon. I mean, they're top 10, maybe creeping towards top 5 in the penalty kill. I know they had a consecutive streak of 22 or 23 killed there for a little bit. Yeah.
I know they're in top 5 in the power rankings right now.
Top 5, yeah. Oh, overall?
Overall power rankings, yeah, they cracked the top 5.
See? Got any team in the top. I mean, it's early. I let me just ostracize everything I'm saying. I am a fan, and I'm going to speak from a passionate heart here, but, everything what the commenters are saying, I'm seeing it too. I'm seeing a different team with size, speed, agility, playing all 3 facets of the game. It's exciting. I mean, are they always looking spectacular? Would I like to see, every game a 60-minute effort? Sure. But you know what? Every team needs that extra little something to work for and keep on shooting for, not being content with mediocrity.
Actually, glad you said that. We put out a post earlier in the afternoon of a quote that Claude Giroux put out earlier saying, that Hart's – and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't remember it off the top of my head. Something along the lines like Carter Hart's playing great. He's playing stand-up hockey. We need to play better in front of him and give him a better chance of getting the wins. Building off of that, that's something that the Flyers have been lacking the last couple of days. They're getting wins, and they are scoring goals, but you got to see guys like Voracek and Giroux and all them really need to start stepping up and figuring out ways to finish. You're getting great production out of Oscar Lindblom and TK, who still tied for the team leading goals, but these guys got to step up too. I mean, you really want a deep run in the playoffs? Yeah, they're rolling 4 lines of solid hockey. Giroux and Voracek need to start getting more involved.
Don't forget leave out JVR too. I think you mentioned
JVR
him
as
just
well.
a second ago. But I mean, he stepped it up there for a little bit after just being snake bit to start the season, and then kind of skated away a little bit. He's not really being as dominant in front of that net as I've been grown accustomed to seeing. So I'm curious to see if something's ailing him, lower body wise or otherwise, because I've seen a little bit of diminished play, especially being powerful in front of that net. But when that guy's right, that guy can honestly be a star and certainly carry you during a playoff series.
Yeah, we saw that. Was it JVR last week who had that little ping pong goal go right to him?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he just got to get in front of the net. That's his office. Like that's what he does best. He's a power forward. Just get in front of the net, post up in front of the goalie, and just wait for the rebound.
Right. And at the very least, freeing up attention that Giroux was getting in the past. See, that's why he was always being isolated out, because there wasn't that big-bodied forward.
Yeah.
To unless you were putting him on the wing with Coots, center iceman that we saw last year. Now you're able to keep Coots on a different line, spread out that wealth, have a big body, and Farabee's also tall too. I mean, he's over 6 foot. He needs to put on a little more weight to.
He ain't backing down though.
No, he ain't backing down. He's a tough
backing
player. You're right.
But yeah, I like the line that they have with Coots on right now. Like they're the guys that's the most productive line on the team right now, which is him. It's Coots, TK, and Lindblom. So
Yes.
yeah. So
Yes.
we got Clinky joined us saying, "Hey boys, what's up, Mike?"
Hey, Mike.
Mikey.
John Malmo says, "Where's Patrick at now? Getting any better?" As far as I know, he's still in the same spot he was. He's not even close to skating yet.
Yeah.
He goes on to say Flyers might go further than the Sixers. Right now, that's not an unrealistic comment. I could see that happening.
Who would have said that last year? Probably nobody.
Yeah, he's still. Yeah, Rob, you pretty much hit that nail on the head there, saying still battling the migraines with no end in sight. Which is a shame because you don't want to see that, especially out of a young player like Nolan Patrick, who's got a ton of talent.
So far, he's not really showing it all. I mean, he's bust at this point unless he can get back on the ice.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Hate to be a hater.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
it
he
sucks.
shares, looking tastier.
Yeah. David Raska saying Anaheim Ducks will finish the wild card. No, they will not. I'm not going to read Ryan Broda's quote because he's mean.
Nope.
He says,
Petty.
No.
Petty.
You
Petty.
Get your hands off my phone.
I'm
said-
reading that comment.
He says a quarter of an inch the other way and it would have gone in. A quarter of an inch, Charlie. Trevor Harris says, not going to lie. I want to see what this lineup will be when Nolan Patrick comes and have 4 lines of depth as well as Scotty Lawton.
Yeah,
Lawton should be back in the next week, yeah?
I think so. I think
10 days,
About
yeah.
a week, yeah.
Yeah, a week to
Yeah.
10 days.
San Jose and Anaheim tied up at 1. Thanks, David. But, yeah, I'm curious, too. You get your full lineup back. That's not even something I even thought about. You don't even have the full lineup out and look at how well they're playing.
Yeah, that's true. You are right. I mean, look at the guys that they've been bringing in who've been playing very well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Carson Torwinski. Who the hell would have thought that he would have been starting, come out of training camp, and he's been a part of the lineup, and he's been playing very well.
Been a very solid fourth-line player.
Chris
Love it.
Stewart's been
hungry
playing
players.
well, and Chris Stewart's a guy who's more known for just being a grinder, if anything, and yet he's been playing well. And then you then have other Mikhail Vorobayev, and then, of course, Joel Farabee.
Who's up and down, yeah.
Yeah, but these guys have played well when they've come through here, and I've liked the fact that Vigneault is not afraid to send a guy down and bring somebody up. He's using the two-way contract very well.
And I kind of like that to an extent, but at some point, like I get it's early, you're trying to figure out your line combination still a little bit. It's November. I think at some point you need to sit here and say, okay, this line works. This line works. You got the up and down, like trying to still figure it out, tweaking a little bit. It's got to really start coming to an end and figuring out your 4 lines.
I know exactly what you meant, or what you mean, because I felt that as recently as about 10 days to 2 weeks ago. But since that time, it's been solidified.
Yeah.
Really less line juggling, less pulling guys up and down. Andrusov has been a welcome addition on that 4th line too. Not, you're never going to see him show up on the score sheet, but doing a lot of things right. And the 4th line has been what you need it to be, that energy checking line.
Yep. Christopher Steinley says, What's up, Chris? Says if they keep doing well in shootouts, then they might be comfortable enough to say that they're actually good at it.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
It's tough because there's a lot of luck involved too.
It
you know
is.
what I mean? You make a nice deke, you have it, and the puck rolls right up on your stick because they're no longer icing the surface with the Zamboni before overtime or shootouts. So you're getting 65 and then into the minute game, then the shootout. A lot of chips in there. So things got to go your way, hoping that you beat the goaltender. If you're going 5-hole, he doesn't squeeze it close enough. What I've liked is that it's all about the strategy of the lineup order. And that's what I've seen Vigneault do very well in terms of mixing in Giroux, Coots, TK. Certainly it's been a nice blend.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought.
Oh, during my 5-minute monologue, you lost your train of thought? Go figure.
That's not why. I was going to say something else, but I don't remember what it was.
It's because you're just thinking about Disney Plus. Anyway.
Thinking about something that ain't Disney Plus.
All right. So, but after all of that, the Flyers, of course, last night, they did take a loss to Washington and everything like that, and we'll talk about this game here. Anything you wanted to bring up, particularly from the game, before we move forward?
The Capitals game?
Yes.
I thought I had a little conversation with the guy at the bar that I work at, and we were talking a little bit, and he always gives me like updates and stuff like that if I miss stuff, saying that the second period was definitely a much better period played overall by the Flyers. More puck control, more possessions, getting more shots. Only had 5 shots in the first period or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, they played better in the second half of the game than they did in the first half.
Seriously outplayed in that first period, and what we saw this team do last year on Wednesday Night Rivalry national television is that one goal turns into a 3-0 Caps lead, and then ultimately a 5-1 Caps victory. They shut the door in that second period. They turned it around, made key adjustments between the first and second period during that intermission, and you just saw the game shift. And that crowd, I definitely got to credit. If you were in attendance to that game, unbelievable support. It felt like a playoff game. And honestly, the level of play is going to elicit that just toe for toe. It was like two giants going against each other. It was beautiful. And, I mean, ultimately, you hope to finish a little more, to your point, Maddie. And Carter Hart doing all the things right that you pointed out and shows past that he needed to do. Just absolutely standing on his head. It was a gorgeous game. It's a shame it ended so crappily.
And it's one of the things that, one of my biggest things about Carter Hart was keeping him out there, showing confidence in him. And it's paying off because he's starting to see that confidence again in himself. I want to say it was John Clark posted something up earlier saying that in the month. What is it? November. In the month of November, he is 4-0-1 with 1.79 goals against average or something like that.
Yep.
It was something along those lines. Couple
Greg,
impressive
is it a
numbers.
Big Mac you got this time? You're rolling with the Nuggets again.
No sauce.
Yeah.
No sauce.
Damn, I'm hungry now. Trevor Harris says, I know AV had a quote, and he said that he didn't figure it out until Christmas when he was with the Rangers. So, I mean, personally, I would like to see it before Christmas. But, that's just me.
I don't like this high school nonsense notes being passed around.
I don't like it either.
I think it's going to be at your
I'm
expense,
incredibly
Brian.
nervous.
I think it's going to be totally at your expense.
What?
Hey, now.
What?
Do you want to switch seats?
You know what? I don't like this.
No.
I feel like you're profiling me. You're
setting me up for
I'm
something.
very
I don't know how
offended
I
right
feel
now.
about it.
Listen, I have done nothing to you. Nothing at all.
That's a
Nothing,
lie.
sir.
No. I'm not talking about.
That is a lie.
I'm not talking about shows in the past. I'm talking about shows. Sorry. Anyway. Sorry. Sasha Banks came on the screen. Anyway.
Hey, now. Yeah.
Anyway, but I have done nothing to you. I have been nothing but very pleasant, and I have just been a gentleman to you this entire show. I do not like that.
This show. But past shows.
So Why you going back to the past?
Both of you two make me very nervous.
How
I'm just throwing this
how
out
dare
there.
you judge me based on my past?
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
Well, when he was, we were sitting there before the show. You're like, oh, I got a surprise for you.
Hey, it's a
okay.
good surprise.
And it's funny that you mentioned that. I
Ever
think
heard
it's
of
time
Christmas?
that you've earned your surprise. I think you have. Ladies and gentlemen, the surprise for today's show. Now, we one day introduced to you Big Brian, who replaced Little Brian right here on a show of the Hockey Happy Hour one time. Say hello to the people, Big Brian. He says he's going to take you over one day. But anyway, so that's Big Brian. But you see, what comes between big and little? Medium.
Medium, yeah.
So, in honor of that, Medium Brian has come to the forefront, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. This is for
Hey, I kind of like this.
Yeah, it's Medium Brian.
You know, this show's actually on Disney Plus too.
It is, and that ties into your theme of you wearing all duck stuff because of Disney Plus.
Oh, he's missing his missile here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't find the missile. They didn't have it. I was like, why? How do you not have the missile? Like,
I wish I knew his name.
His original name was Slapshot.
Yeah, I don't remember much about the show.
But, no, he's Medium Brian now.
We're gonna put him up here.
Medium Brian must destroy.
Oh no!
Oh, look at you.
And look at you,
Look at
killing him
you.
already.
Medium Brian is top heavy.
He's very top heavy.
Trevor says, is that Buzz Lightyear?
To Anaheim and beyond.
All right, we're good. There's no slamming the table the rest of the way because I don't know how steady he is.
Don't worry.
Oh, I know how steady he is. Not very.
No, not very at all. So we're not going to slam the table.
No. But anyway, yes, so there is your surprise, Mr.
Oh, that
Darkwind.
wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
See, you jumped
Well,
to
you
conclusions.
two make me very nervous.
Christmas came early. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Christmas
You're
music
welcome,
was on the radio
Brian.
today.
You're welcome.
Was it?
Yeah, I made a video. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy about it.
Got a couple comments rolling in.
It was a good surprise.
It was a good surprise. I'm not used to good surprises. He says, I was at the TD Garden on Sunday, and it was awesome to see the Flyers fans travel a lot more. Bill. So you got me all messed up now. I'm all messed up.
Sound. There's the sound again. There's the sound again.
He's flustered.
Best of the week right there.
I didn't fluster. I shook my tongue out.
Yes.
Said Bill Middlebrook said, can't wait for the playoffs. Tall order. Yes, but just like beating the Bruins the other night. But guess what, fellas? Put a few bucks on them, and I was making sure you didn't want to say pucks. Put a few bucks on them because we surprising the world. Who won last year? Capitals. Blues won last year. Did anyone see that one? Cubs coming to Philly.
Not only is Bill drinking the Kool-Aid like I am, there's a little vodka in that Kool-Aid too.
Might be a little vodka.
Yeah, I feel
Ain't
it.
nothing wrong with that.
You share it.
This
Let's
is
go.
a good time. Hey, as long as he's
A2D
having a
after
good time,
dark.
that's the only thing that matters.
This is the Hockey Happy Hour.
A2D after dark. Let's go.
You said, is that Buzz Lightyear, Trevor? Cheetah Man. Greg Milakovic, by the way, to the poll question, I disagree. Improved? Yes. Great? No. We missed 2 nets last night in the loss.
That's correct. Yep.
And he also goes on to say, oh, and another, by the way, I got honey to dip my nuggets in.
Oh yeah, honey.
Oh, Greg,
Oh.
we're hungry too.
I don't know. After
Especially
Rob,
me, I'm famished.
Can we have nuggets, please? Can we have one nugget, please?
I want some more.
look at this
Please,
man. This
look,
man, he is
I'm
male.
skin and bone.
Look at he is malnourished. If you could give just a little bit of your time, and more importantly, just a little bit of your money to help Brian get through this traumatic time in his life, where he just needs even just $1 can give this guy what he needs, and that is sustenance to carry on his daily life. It's necessary for him. At the Brian Foundation Fund,
What?
you
When
can
did
make a
this become a
difference
Sarah
in
McLachlan
Brian's
commercial?
life.
For just 10 cents a day. And in return for giving, we'll give you this nice blanket.
Yeah, right?
It'll have no notes written on it.
Yes.
Hashtag no notes.
With a picture of Brian Daly.
Yes, right there.
And medium Brian. And big Brian.
Oh, my God. What the hell happened to this show?
What are you talking about? This is the show.
Oh, man. Trevor says, what's the official Hockey Happy Hour mixed drink?
Ooh.
I don't know. We might all have 3 very different variations of this.
I mean, I usually like a shot of Jameson and a cold beer. That's my go-to.
I like the Jack and Gingers, Jack and Cokes, or just straight Jack, actually.
I'll do Jack and Coke every once in a while. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you need it.
I'm trying to think of what was universally drank at our outing at Pin Setters. That's what I'm trying to base this off of. Was the universal drink?
I'll
that
text
night.
Greg. He would know.
Yes,
I'll text Greg.
definitely. Awesome.
Frank says he'll give me 3 dimes for 3 McNuggies. You know what? I think I'm going. No, I'm not going to do that shameless plug. Bill says 12-pack of Heineken and a sleeve of Fireballs. Just a starter kit. Woo!
Like your style. That's awesome.
I'm good with the 12-pack of Heineken. I can't do the Fireball.
Nah,
Can't do the Fireball. Disgusting. Gross.
not a cinnamon fan. I hear you.
Not one bit. I'm hungry.
Me hungry.
Seriously, all this talk about
10 cents, people. Let's go.
yeah, 10 cents for this man. He is malnourished.
Let's
for
get
God's sake.
moving here,
Yes,
people.
Jesus.
do it.
Anyway.
I'm wasting away.
Look, he's melting. He's melting.
Might have something to do with the lights, but he's
What a
melting.
world. What a world.
He lost all this weight, and I found it.
Oh, there he is. Greg's here. There he is. He'll tell you what the official drink was.
Oh,
No, he's not actually
I
here.
thought I'm looking up there. I'm like, where's he at?
Brian's like, oh my God, he brought the nuggies.
I'm hungry. I had Chinese food at like 6 o'clock.
Brian Waddy.
Ooh.
Brian White Nuggy.
Tommy one wingy. Come on, man. Greg says, I'm still here. Wilson and I were drinking Miller Lights. I don't know what everyone else was drinking.
Yeah, it was a beer night. There was a lot of beers being drunk. That's correct.
Yeah, that's
Drunk,
what I
drank.
prefer. I'm a beer guy. I'm a beer guy.
Proper drunk.
Oh.
Oh.
Is it? Oh, no. Chime in.
Drank, drunk, drank.
Drank, drunk.
Give me some
Billy.
grape drink, baby.
Yeah. I drank. You drunk. Yeah,
I drank, you drunk.
No, I drank. You drank. They drunk. No. They be drunk, yo. Maybe I'm, ghetto phonics over here. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Hey, man, if it works.
Rubbed off from watching that Ralph video earlier.
Oh, my God.
He just talks different.
Just a God.
Pentalese.
Pentalese.
Pentaliones.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Jarvis!
Oh,
Flags.
Oh, I love that.
was that Landry?
That wasn't Landry. I was hoping.
That was Ricky Seals Jones.
All right.
Oh, Jesus, Frank.
Nope.
Oh, Jesus.
Backup tight end.
Who got him started?
I didn't. It wasn't me.
It was me.
All right.
Yeah, it was.
I will gladly
Yeah, it
take
was.
that one. Yeah.
All right, back to hockey.
Yeah, sorry.
All
back
right.
to hockey.
So,
Oh, man.
now
Harris.
we had fun there for a moment, but now we must get a little serious here.
Yeah.
So, besides all the regular NHL shit that happens and the Flyers and their stuff, certain somebody what?
This is actually pretty good. Frank says Pentalese and cannolis. Actually, it does sound like that, like an Italian dessert. Pentalese?
No, he's saying that for a different reason. A random part of the show last night, Ralph just started doing this with his arms, and he just randomly asked, "What do you call these? Pellinis? They're Pilates."
Oh my God.
And then he's like, then he started bringing up cannolis. I said, no, when Ralph does the Pilates, he calls them cannolis. And he calls a yoga mat a yogurt mat.
Oh my God.
Oh, my goodness. Good evening, Eileen. How are you?
Hi, Eileen.
Oh, my goodness.
Bill
Ralphie.
Mineral goes, there's antifreeze and fireballs perfect for cold weather.
Oh my God.
I would actually kind of believe that the way it burns going down.
Oh, that
But
sounds
that
like
just might be the sentiment.
that sounds like stuff Bills fans drink outside in the tailgates. But anyway,
Oh, she's joining the happy hour, drinking a lot of wine, saying her weekend starts now. Oh, my week starts tomorrow.
Vino. Oh, see.
don't be like that.
My week does actually start tomorrow.
Why are you party pooping on Eileen?
I'm not. I'm party pooping on myself.
She's
She
there.
said her weekend starts now. I'm just adding to the conversation that my week starts now.
But she's drinking wine for us, man. Just go with it. Just go with it,
But I'm
man.
not drinking
Here we are
wine.
trying to raise money for you because you're malnourished, and now you're just gonna shit all over this. Jesus.
We
Good for you, Eileen. For real.
We drinking red or white?
Drink
Red
that
or white?
drink that week away. That's what I'm going to be doing on next Wednesday.
Nice. Yeah, that's what
a long week.
Life of the restaurant biz. I know. this
Yeah,
biz.
seriously,
Yeah.
it's a rough business. Which
All
is
right.
why my week starts tomorrow.
All right, guys. So, all right, we
love you too, Eileen.
We had fun there. Let's pull this back. All right. Now that we pulled it back, we will talk about Don Cherry, who was released because of some comments he made about immigrants living in Canada. And
that's a good mixture.
well, his comments, and I'm paraphrasing this, but his comments were to Canadian immigrants who were not wearing a poppy plant, a little flower that they call it. And it's to honor Canadian military veterans and current servicemen and women. And, of course, there were some immigrants who currently weren't wearing it or what have you. And he was saying for anyone out there who is an immigrant who loves their life in Canada and enjoys their life in Canada, you should wear this to honor the men and women who give you that life. And that's basically the summarization of what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were some people who did not take that the right way, and he was released. Now, Don Cherry has doubled down. He has not walked it back. He has not apologized for anything he said.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Don Cherry says, I said what I said. So, all right, fine. Here's the thing, though. Calling immigrants, at least certain immigrants, ungrateful, do you think that that's a fireable offense?
In this day and age, it is.
Yeah.
It's sad to say that you can't speak your mind fully, and I mean, it makes for a better world where you're not, controlling disparaging remarks. But I mean, what did he really say that was wrong?
Nothing, in my opinion. And I don't think he should have been fired. And it's just like
national pride.
Yeah, he was just simply saying to those who don't wear the little flower, the little poppy, to honor Canadian servicemen and women, whether they're current or past. It's like all he's saying is don't be ungrateful for the life you enjoy in Canada. It'd be the same as if someone did that here, and it'd be like, don't shit on the people who protect you and allow you to have the life you enjoy in the United States.
True. I mean, you talk to a lot of military men, and in response to like flag burning, a lot of military men have told me, "Well, I fight for the right for you to be able to choose whether you want to burn the flag that I fight for." And it seemed a little bit of oxymoronic to me, but that's true. It's liberty. But here's where he was wrong: is that he was stereotyping that those that weren't wearing it as being automatically immigrants. What if some people were natural, born Canadians that said, "Hey, I choose not to, support, the military force." That's a right of theirs. So whenever you stereotype, that's a huge no-no in this PC world that we live in. And I'm not saying that that's exactly wrong. I don't think he should have gotten fired, but
No, because, he never said anything about immigrants, they don't belong here. He never said anything about how they're garbage or anything like that. He never said anything like that. Our president has said a shit ton of worse things, and he's the goddamn president, for crying out loud.
Frank did say that, and I don't know, I haven't really looked into the situation yet, but he said, not touching the Don Cherry, but in the statement he threw in, you people, that can be interpreted in many ways.
What you mean, you people?
What do you mean by
Well, exactly, and I think that's kind of how the way that some of the people took it. Like I said, I don't know much about the situation. I'm not really looking into it. But in the world we live in now, it's a very PC world. Unfortunately, like I know a bunch of people that are in broadcasting that have lost their jobs for saying something.
Yeah.
Not as bad
It's
as what Don
inevitably
Cherry
going to
said.
happen to me. It's inevitably going to happen to me. I'm just counting down the days until I get tossed from somewhere.
It's just the way it is. It's just the world we live in.
It's just again.
I'm not saying he was right or wrong in saying what he said, but
To me, it's just like yes. Listen, did he say something that was probably off the cuff and he probably shouldn't have said it? Yeah, sure, fine. Don Cherry has said a lot of stupid things in his career, and he's been made a fool on multiple occasions by doing it. But at the same time, it's like he never said immigrants don't belong in Canada. He never came off as xenophobic, in my opinion. And it's just, unless he was coming off or could possibly have come off xenophobic, it's like, then what was the big deal? It's like, yeah, he said something. It's like, fine, you got your butt hurt over it. But it's like, guess what? It's his opinion. You don't have to like it. It is what it is.
And at the same time, like, it's going and based on piggybacking off of what you just said, and going the other way, like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, you wear that pin to show respect for people. Not everybody has to wear it. I mean, 4th of July, I see people with American flag pins all over the place. I don't wear one.
No.
It doesn't mean I'm not, loving
but
or respecting the country or the people that fought for the country for our freedom.
Here's the weird part of it. It was supposed to be on a thing called Remembrance Day, which is kind of like their Veterans Day for them. And so it was a big deal in that regard because it's like I could see where that could kind of stick in somebody's craw. It'd be like if on Memorial Day, or Veterans Day, if someone was raising the flag and playing the national anthem that you knelt like the NFL players like to do. Like if you had knelt down in a military cemetery on top of that too, while they're raising the flag and you knelt down because you don't care for the country, it's like, wow, that's just basically, you might as well have just whipped your dick out and just pissed on one of the graves because that's a pretty damn disrespectful thing to do right there. It's, to me, I think that that's where he was coming off from. It's like it was disrespectful for him to see that people weren't appreciating the sacrifice made by Canadian servicemen. And I'm not saying that that's where they're coming from. I think that they had their reasons. I'm sure that maybe some of them didn't know of a thing called Remembrance Day. Maybe. I'm not saying that that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But at the same token, it's like I see both sides of the issue. I see where he's coming from and I see where they're coming from. But overall, it's just like him getting fired just seems like way too much of an overreaction. And unfortunately, you guys aren't too far off by saying that that's something that would be considered a fireable offense nowadays.
Hey, what could be Canada's loss could be our gain. Come on down, Don Cherry. Imagine Don Cherry and Mike Milbury on the same broadcast.
Oh.
Ratings. Absolute ratings. Let's go.
Don actually, I think he coached Mike Milbury, too, when he played for Boston.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
So real quick, Jason Donaghy chimed in. He said he just wants people to show support for our fallen soldiers by wearing a poppy. Enough said. He was fired on Remembrance Day. He said it on Saturday night, just FYI. And I get it, and I completely understand where Don Cherry was coming from, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that they weren't showing support. I mean, or being remembered, or not thanking the people that have fallen for the Canadian military. That he's not thankful for or appreciative of what they've done. It's like I said, it's like down here, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. I'm thankful and appreciative for what our military personnel has done, will do, whatever. Just because I don't show it doesn't mean that I'm not appreciative and I'm not thankful for the sacrifices that they're making that I'm not courageous enough to take.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's your choice. I mean, what you choose to wear doesn't mean that's a reflection of who you are, what's going on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. Bill Middlebrooks having some fun here. He wants to know who wore number 16. That was obvious. Number 36. Who wore number 36 for the Flyers?
That was Clarkie's first number. That's what he was pointing out. He asked the trivia question and then answered it. I like your style.
Jason, I get it. Believe me, I'm not saying anything negative about Don Cherry. Do I think he should have been fired? Probably not. But it's the world we live in. He's in the public eye consistently, and I'm sure there was a lot of people that got rubbed the wrong way for not necessarily what he said, but how he said it. So, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Eileen wants to know what we're drinking. I got an energy drink.
I have water that
Yeah.
supposedly makes you smart.
Lamos right over here. Yeah.
Or at least this is what you think is water.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's
I was
fucking
drinking-
vodka, man.
If I was drinking anything right now, I'm out. I'm out cold, especially today. I'm dragging a little bit. What else we got here? He wore another.
Jason the Dragon. What?
That's it. That's all I got for right now, as far as
Alright
comments
then.
goes.
Cool.
YouTube's
So-
been quiet,
Yeah, it's just Rosca chiming in on all
giving
the
us all our
scores.
updates. He's not even keeping us updated.
It's all right. He's chiming in on there.
Yeah, he's saying.
But
He
anyway.
just actually just chimed in. He said
Oh,
watching the
hey.
Redskins. Redskins, Red Wings, and Kings.
Nice.
Yeah, that would have been real interesting if you finished that. Redskins and Kings. I'm like, wait, what? Who the fuck is called the Kings in the NFL?
You're damn right. I know it, Bill. You're damn right.
And he probably. Now, you know what? That's probably what the Raiders are going to get their name changed to when they move to Vegas. They'll just be called the Las Vegas Kings. Just see how.
They'll still be the Raiders. They'll still be the Raiders. They're just changing the
I'm
city.
sure they would, but their owner is so batshit fucking stupid that I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to rebrand the team. Anyway.
I wouldn't. Wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway.
Yep. Moving on.
So, any other topics you want to bring up, gentlemen?
That's all I got for right now.
All right, then. So, I think it's a good time for us to go to break. And
Actually,
when
perfect time for that.
Yes. And when we come back, we are going to jump into the NHL scoring update.
Yay!
Rosca tried to replace you, but he
Not
he's-
as good as me. Just kidding, Dave. Yeah. Oh, finally somebody patted my back.
Oh, and here's
Yay!
But you see, here's the real surprise.
Oh, no.
Actually, Medium Brian's going to be doing the live scoring update. And
I got fired?
yeah, I wanted to break it to you softly, but I just said fuck it and just decided to roll with it anyway.
Go
Oh,
grab a
thank
drink
you,
with
Eileen.
Don.
I appreciate that compliment. She says we really make her night. Thank
Oh,
you.
awesome.
It's
Well-
our pleasure.
Well, we appreciate you being able to say that, we make your night. It's awesome.
Shit, we're
I'm gonna start bringing alcohol here for these shows.
we're gonna have
You
to
have-
we're gonna
This
have to
needs
check
to
this
happen.
out for the second half of the show. This is actually go right into the scoring update. Jason Donaghy says you guys should check out McDavid tonight. Going into the third period, he has 6 points.
Oh.
Which player holds the record for most points in a game? Played for the Flyers at one time.
Okay, then. Interesting.
Night, Bill.
All right, then. Night, Bill. And when we come back, we'll answer that question.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
And we will do the NHL live scoring update. And we'll cover any other loose ends that we need to tie up before we preview what we're going to do for the next show. But anyway, have you guys like making bets?
Hell yeah.
I'm broke because of it.
Well, Bright, you don't need to be broke anymore. You want to
Yay.
know why? Because you can go to ATS Sports Picks. And you can use the promo code A2D and get 20% off. And you want to know why that's important? Because we want you guys to make money out there in the fam. And we do want Brian to make money. He is malnourished after all. And we
need food.
Yeah, and we would want to see you guys make yourselves a nice chunk of change by betting on the line and saying, hey, you know what? I just made me a nice sum of money going ahead and picking what would appear to be the Browns over the Steelers on tonight's Thursday Night Football game. So if you made that bet, congratulations. But anyway, with that being said, though, guys, ATS Sports Picks, that's where you want to go. Make yourself some money. And why not just use that and spend it on some A2D merch, too, on top of it? We got some nice shirts. We got some cool hats. We got the hats sitting right on over there. You guys can do that. You can buy whatever you want with it, but always make sure you keep A2D in mind. Remember, A2D 20% off ATS Sports Picks. Head on over there, www.atsportspick.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour.
He didn't fall. I did a good job. I'm having a good night.
Let's parlay it to ATS, man. I'll stake you. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, guys. So we will come back. And like I said, Answer the question. Do the live scoring update. That is on the other side here on HUDRadio.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour live in the Real Talk Studios here in Mountie from New Jersey. Matt Tsutsuti, the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What up?
Sporting his Disney Plus gear. And right on over here is the broken one himself, Rob the Povia.
Just balancing the equation out with the double flyers. I never wear double letters.
Ah.
It's a rare night.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm fucking geeked up on the Flyers.
And then right on over behind the board, the sign guy, Mr. Ryan Brodo. And we are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. They're located in Cherry Hill, Burlington, and Princeton, New Jersey. Dr. Paul Vidal can take care of you. All of your specialized physical therapy needs can be taken care of right there. And all you got to do is go to www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com.
That's right. Slapshot staying up.
He is. And now,
Well, before we do anything else, Eileen did ask before we jumped on break. She wanted to know what our thoughts on Sunday's game was.
what against Toronto?
No,
Was
Boston.
Sunday Toronto? It's Boston, yeah.
Boston, my bad. Yeah, that reverse. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't watch it, so it's up to you guys.
Oh, I thought it great victory for the Flyers. I mean, they had the lead very early on in a very difficult building to play in. So I was like, oh, okay. The Flyers, they did very well against Boston. I mean, yeah, Boston came back on them. They had to eventually win it in a shootout. But I think they did very well, considering the fact that Boston has been a buzzsaw this year and has been rather difficult to play against. So for their first game against the Bruins, they did very well. They did extremely well. Would have been nice for them to win it in regulation, of course. But, hey, man, it is getting those overtime end of regulation victories, they're just a little bit more sweeter when you do it to a rival. So I would say I was very happy with that. What about you, Rob?
In terms of the Sunday contest, I mean, what I liked was getting shots on net in that game, especially against Tuukka Rask. Quality chances. The scoring chances were 2-1 at one point. And you saw, I think the Bruins were held to like 5 shots on goal. I want to say it wasn't the full period, but it was like in a 10-minute swing. Just great puck possession, like I said. It was just an all-around solid effort. And in a tough situation where you're on the second game of a back-to-back, I mean, it's not a tremendous undertaking. Like I meant to say this last week, heading to Toronto and Boston. It's not like a very far trip. You know what I mean? Certainly a little distance from Philly, but once you're Toronto over to Boston and back or whatever, made it a little doable. But I love the energy lasted till like the Flyers looked like, or they made the Bruins look like they were playing on the tail end of a back-to-back. That's just the youth speaking right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But a tremendous performance from the Flyers against Boston, getting a victory in overtime, shootout, which is even better. And like I said, it's much more sweeter to get a win in a shootout against a rival. It's always pleasant when you get to see that happen.
All right, so
See.
now. All right, go ahead.
No, just see.
Oh, okay.
As in yes.
See.
It's Spanish. For
Okay.
yes.
See.
So before we jump to break, Jason Donaghy asked us a pretty interesting question.
Great
Just give
trivia
some
question.
something to ponder about. He said, and I'm going to reread the whole comment. You guys should check out McDavid tonight. He's going into the third period, has 6 points. Which player holds the record for most points in a game? Played for the Flyers at one time. And then he goes on to say, while we were at break, the record is 2 more than the most scored by a Flyer. Other trivia question for your fans to answer. So first off, who holds the record for most points in a game? Played for the Flyers at one point.
I misread this question. I thought it was 2 different. I thought he was saying
I think
who
it's
held
2
the
different
Flyers,
questions.
who held the Flyers record and who held the all-time record. He's saying this player owns the all-time record and he once played for the Flyers.
Oh, I was taking it as who holds the single game record, and then he asked,
Right.
but
No, gotcha. Right on.
okay,
So we have no idea what we're answering.
we'll just go one at a time. Which player holds the record for most points in a game? He played for the Flyers at one point.
Played for the Flyers at one point. So it's got to be a player that the Flyers didn't have for probably all that long, I would assume. I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark. And it's going to be a player that we did get rid of a few seasons after he was with the Flyers. Let's say Renberg. And the only reason the reason why I say Renberg is because Renberg could score, and he would get a lot of goals when he would play. And he's not the player you would think would hold a record like that. So I'm going to say Renberg.
I would suspect that he was a goal-scoring machine back in the day and could assist two good line mates regularly on two different quality lines with the Legion of Doom and the Crazy Eights.
Yeah.
It's a good guess.
And also he played very well for Toronto when he left Philadelphia for that period of time.
I believe it was actually Tampa.
Right when he left. But he did eventually wind up in Toronto for a period of time.
Okay. What do you think, Rab?
Oh, my answer to this? I know who it is. It's Daryl Sittler. With 10.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I probably should have went first.
All right. Well, that just, Rob just said, "Hey, fuck your question."
I mean, I could be wrong. That's my answer. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was 10. I believe he was playing with the Kings at the time, and Sittler played 5 seasons with the Flyer. I don't see that. Maybe this will be whether I'm right or wrong if he was a Flyer.
Jason chimed in and just said, single game record holder, played for the Flyers at one point, twilight of his career after he got the record with the Leafs.
Oh, it was the Leafs.
Is it still Daryl Sittler? Did he play for Toronto?
See. I was wrong. Why did I say Kings? Way off.
You're probably thinking of Daryl Sutter.
That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yep. Trevor Harris said Jeremy Roenick. My guess was either going to be Vaclav Prospal or, honestly, John LeClair, because I did go to a game where it was like my first Flyers game where John LeClair wound up having like 4 or 5 or 6 points or something like that. I know he had like
John LeClair's my man crush.
Jason just
That's an old reference.
Jason just confirmed, yes, Sittler, 1976.
All right,
76, wow.
76. Wow.
Yeah, David, it might be time to move on from Nick Ritchie, man, or at least send him back down and get him a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Words.
Give him a shot of reality, saying, "Hey, you need to play better."
Played 3 seasons. But
Well, while Ricci ponders going down to the AHL affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks, I believe it is time for this man who loves the Anaheim Ducks to give us an NHL scoring update.
real quick, can anybody confirm that the Flyers' team record for most points in a game is Mark Recchi with 8? Because I couldn't find it anywhere online.
Was Recchi's more of a single season?
No, 8 points in a game.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I said, I misread the question. I thought it was what was the Flyers record holder and who was the all-time NHL holder, and Sittler was the connection because he played for the Flyers after the Maple Leafs. But no, I was just curious in that answer, and who holds the single game record for the Flyers, like being an active Flyer scoring. Obviously not 10, but underneath.
Oh, well, we wait for somebody to confirm
I'll take a
We don't
look
have
and
to
see
wait
what
for
I
it.
can find here.
Good luck. I tried.
So real quick, we're gonna jump into the scoring update here. Let me just make sure I got everything set up here. All right, we're good. All right, so tonight we got a bunch of games in action. Right now we got the Oilers and the Avalanche, which is why we got our trivia question.
Nope.
Connor McDavid in the first 2 periods does have a hat trick and a 6-2 lead midway through the third period.
McJesus.
McJesus. We got the Dallas Stars facing off against the Vancouver Canucks. Dallas is up currently 2-1 halfway through the second. At about the same point in the second period, Sharks are facing off against the Ducks, tied up at 1 apiece.
There you go.
At the end of the first, the Red Wings are out in the City of Angels playing the Kings, down 1-0. All right, this is how I'm going to have to. Oh, really? All right, we'll do it this way. All right, now into the finals. We got the Hurricanes beating the Buffalo Sabres 5-4. The Lightning teeing off on the Rangers by a final score of 9-3.
I actually checked into that game briefly before heading over to the studio because I get MSJ. With the Lightning up 1-0, they scored 3 goals, I want to say, in like 61 seconds.
Damn.
It went from 1-0 to 4-0 real quick.
But you know what's funny? I was playing NHL 20 earlier. That was the final score of my game.
Nice.
9-3.
You willed it.
I did. Rickard Rakell had 5 goals.
Nice.
The Jets and the Panthers faced off. Jets won by a final score of 4-3 in Florida. And we got the Wild and the Coyotes. Wild finishing 3-2.
therapy needs. www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com is where you can find him.
Still standing. That's right.
Say bye-bye to the people, Big Brian. Say bye-bye to the people, Medium Brian. And say bye-bye to the people, Little Brian.
Bye, people, little Brian.
All right, then. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next week here on A2DRadio.com. Peace, everyone.